War One. Even though this was a modern war, they still had pre-World War One and medieval style tactics such as killing people with clubs and barbed wire and metal sticks. But another thing was communication. Even though you had phones, telegraphs, and even telecommunications to some extent with wireless messaging, letters were the most important part of a World War One soldier's life in the trenches, whether it be as far as the Western Front, to the shores of Gallipoli, to the trenches of Galicia, and even in the Alps of the Monte Grappa and Italian mountains. The World War One soldier had letters, either for her mother, even for their mother, brother, loved one, wife, girlfriend, engagement, fiance, and everything like that. Disclaimer: I was just gonna read a couple of letters, but I guess I would give you a little, introduction, I guess. But without further ado, we have 5 letters today: one American, one German, Turkish, one from Gallipoli, which is kind of British, and I was trying to look for a Russian one, but I couldn't find one. So that is 1, 2, 3, and the last one is from the shores of Gallipoli, so 4. I was gonna do 5, but they're in the original language plus English, so I guess that's still pretty good. So without further ado, to his mother, writes Karl Kringer, Lieben Mutter, krijg der einholen, das er Josken, dat finde Seifen. So without further ado, the first one is German, and this is to his mother from Karl. Liebe Mutter, krijg des Heil holen, das du sicher ins Dummenfagens meines Lebens. Als ich bin da meinsle, das sei uns dei, kein das Licht meint mit immens, ich sicher, sag du vornen bin Wunder. Also, hier der Wort in Gumach habe. Why haben der Lussen manche in die Stugeheibin war watch? Ich bewaffelse, dass das Guban, Schiaza, Sneis an Lamel, Kaiser von Zingerang, Namel Kaiser Frongrang, ich gabat stande, kammet untot, die Gluschle standvoll, Wein sei alwikla eint der Bon broken, Stalin Schleich, Lynch, Molluska, Albiscuit und Mana von die Sit Monte nicht Großstaden haben. Es gibt 1 Mil, Wuwa, Wutang, Kolafai Hill, Eislamaslin, Wei von haben in verbinden. Ein Slapaka, ein Selalakin, Seisin in deinem Unstafab, Doschna und Dovisten Waden. Unter dessen umragendsten Fei und Schmei, Matkumal, Ubs es sich, Weicher Lund und Sere Land zu deinen. Weibel, woran Doffin ist der Heiden, das in nichts war. Sei haben, Deutsch Zulengfag, in der Sagen, die sie nach Hassen gehen können, ein Statter Sohn sennen. Ich muss gassen, pastet auf Deutsch auf und bit Frau mich und Maxine Kamanden. Die Leben schlon. Karl. P.S. Wein ins Problem ins Konisten, dun my bed uns paar suchen Säcken. Ellen, me, Cinder, in Gemelle Schukelan, Zustan. Their mother, war is hell. This is just a summary of my life right now, but I am sure you and the children will not be satisfied with a 1-sentence letter, so here's what I've been up to. We have been spending the past few months in the trenches. I highly doubt these trenches are any safer than normal warfare. There's a constant of disease and death. The smells are putrid. If you really need an idea, imagine dead bodies, human waste, and men who haven't showered in months. There are many times where we have been ankle deep in mud for weeks on end. Many of us have trench foot, a horrible condition where our feet became waterlogged and frozen. Under these conditions, sometimes I wonder if it was really worth it to serve our country. Many fellows decide it wasn't. They shot themselves accidentally so they would go home instead of serving. I must go now. Take care of yourselves and pray for me and my comrades. Your loving son, Carl. P.S. If it isn't any trouble, could you please send me some socks? Mine are in horrid condition. Mustafa Mohammed to his presumably wife or fiancée Hashia or Hashia El Zila or Hazila Saba El Zila. Tarana Duca Iglesia España Soma Edricia Inse Golusia Conten Jala Mazilea Comzicrea Mezina Gobola Istereza Aizelmiza Bu Intelligenzi Kola Presenti Ulgol Gulgana Ivol Vi Yokane Cardinio Colindian Ulan Ulum Corasuna Ulgiam Assisium V Baiza Azilio Ul Grace Centenaria Giba Darvaka Zigiga Ol Brioco Orbu Kalaviokoro Savanska Nara Kalakadidik Naisha Aisaladam Gulsilamba Bartakanian Vamina Burgarim Bunla Mala Uza Dharmana Grekandindiriam Beziam Isilium Almania Tariza Sani Korasana Isilia IV Konoastamaris Sesemil Isetizium. O Asinia, my morning star, I pray to God to bring this all to an end. I can see our lovely Constantinople in ruins and our houses burnt to the ground. These English are very persistent and have no fear of death in them. They are cruel and watch us like wolves in the night, and are upon us like the devil in the day. Oh, why did we join this wicked war? Asinia, I must now take my leave, as the sun is sinking, and I must away with my devotion to you. God bless you, Asinia. God bless you, Asinia. I wish I were home to give you my adorations. Asinia never got this letter. It was found on the dead body of Mustafa Mohammed by a British soldier during the Gallipoli landings. This one is from an American now, so let's change up the accent. And now we have a Mary he is writing to from a Lloyd S. My dearest Mary, we are here in the army now. I'm sitting inside our little old tent listening to the gentle patter of raindrops on the canvas. It began raining here in the morning and it still is as it is. No drilling today, so I have the time to write a letter or two. We're in the city of OK. Back then the censors actually didn't allow for cities or names to be referenced just in case of plans or offensives or defensives. So we marched up to the armory and had dinner. There was a mess at the armory. We had to march back and forth to eat. The eats are pretty good so far, but some women are helping out with the cooking. Set up camp in the afternoon. Shoemakers have been acting as corporals in our squad. We got the tents up and under the direction of the old heads that have served in the border. Some equipment are used in the afternoon. My name is down on the list, so I have not received anything as yet in my own name. Corporal Hilton is staying in town, so we have to get all his stuff. Got packs, guns, ponchos, and numerous other things that we don't know would be useful. Snapped on the ground last night in a tent with just even a dozen others in it. Some of the fellows are staying in towns or hotels, rooming areas, and even private housing. Taken all together, things are rather poor shape as it is, but I'm supposed it takes a little time to get around. A few of the bunch have acted like a bunch of bums instead of soldiers, but they've gotten taken out for them once we get real captains. They got Parker Moolish for kitchen duty for the first thing. Walter Anthony was stuck to guard duty last night. It must have been fun walking up and down the front rows of the tent watching the other fellows sleep. One thing they did do every day was quite up and down. At 10:30 last night, we had good entertainment before lights out. We had a light too. Some of the bunch had actually gotten a hold of a lantern. A fellow in our squad that is named Donald gets off some pretty good comedy, original stuff too. He's a rather rough nut, but not as bad as some in this crowd. There were some in the crowd at the station yesterday, weren't there? I think I shook hands with everybody at least 3 or 4 times. Not a very pleasant task under the circumstances either. Well, I got some company in here and I can't really think straight. This is a rather poor excuse for a letter, but I will write soon again. I will write again soon. With the best of my love to my own little girl, Lloyd S. And that about rounds up the letters from World War One. But there's one more. One more. Dear Will, have survived 3 months of it and still going strong. Edgar and I have landed in the afternoon on the 25th of April and had a fairly warm reception. Edgar got through the roughest part of it, which was including the 2nd and 3rd of May, which had been BN, which could probably stand for Battalion or censored for Gallipoli maybe. Were in. Peter Jackson had been missing since then, and I'm afraid that he's not a prisoner of war. Edgar was a bit too close to a bomb when it exploded on the 7th of May and got hit half a dozen places by splinters. The worst wound was that of his chin, and it broke all his teeth and logged into his neck. He was hospitalized at Alexandria for 6 weeks and came back with no teeth and a scar above his 5 inches long with a lump of bomb in his neck. The docs sent him away again. He was a wreck. Ellis and Jack Comer were trying to pull the Turk when I saw them a couple of weeks ago. Jack was a minus a joint and his finger. Jay Willis from Bali was hit by the 3rd of May and the neck out the back blew his ribs, a nasty wound. He was lucky to be alive. It went between his windpipes and jugular. I tied him up and saw him off to the hospital ship, and we have not heard from him since. Arthur Sullivan went out on the 25th of April, the first of our BN, probably battalion, to take the count. I think our BN can claim that the first of the Australians for I think RBN can claim to be the first of the Australians at Constantinople. A couple of our officers were captured in a ruse within an hour of the landing, and we have heard since then that they're being well treated by the Turkish capital. Pleased to hear that they're getting the place into working order. It seems to me that the clerk of the weather is going to be kind to you. I have arranged not to open the Dardanelles until I have sold your wheat. Remember me to all my Wagoon friends. And Mr. PMW Loing, if he calls on you, hope Mrs. FW and yourself are quite well. Will. The horrors of war, the lovers of war, all combined into death, destruction, and probably people's last letters to their loved ones. Not too sad, not too bad. Only, honestly, 2 out of all 4 of them, well, 2 out of 4 of them were, well, half of them, I should say. I didn't do the 5th one. Only 2 were actually pretty horrific, but there you go. Hope you learned something. I hope you kind of shed a tear, and I hope you don't get mad at me because my Turkish was not really on point and I mispronounced like a couple of words. Yep, a couple. Yeah, pretty bad for me, honestly. Kind of half asleep, so I don't blame myself. Anyway, I hope you learned something. Wow, 30 minutes. Alright, hope you learned something, and we'll do one more video maybe about racism and race in the Great War. So, love and hate, I guess, today, maybe. Anyway, hope you learned something, and I'll see you in the next video. Oh boy, I might need to take a nap. Learn something, my dudes. Bonjour. Oh, I should have done a French one, but couldn't find any right now. Anyway, learn something.